Rancher Cole Brennan stood at the altar next to the biggest woman he'd ever laid eyes on, knowing he'd just traded his pride for enough cattle to save his dying ranch. But when Big Bertha Holbrook locked their bedroom door that wedding night, he had no idea he'd just married the deadliest woman in 3 territories. The bank notice in Cole's vest pocket felt like it was burning a hole right through the cloth. 30 days to scrape together $800 or lose the ranch his daddy had died building with his own 2 hands. His cattle had frozen to death in the brutal winter, and his crops had withered when the railroad boys diverted the creek upstream. He was walking dead until Silas Holbrook made his devil's bargain. "Marry my niece Big Bertha, and I'll hand you 50 head of prime beef cattle," Holbrook had said across that saloon table, his gold pocket watch catching the lamplight like a snake's eye. "She ain't much to look at, Cole, but she's got a gentle heart, and you need them cattle more than you need your pride." Cole had stared into his empty whiskey glass, feeling every eye in Murphy's saloon burning into his back like branding irons. The whole territory knew his situation. Everyone knew he was desperate enough to consider just about anything. "She's willing to do this?" Cole had asked quiet-like. "She's 28 and still unmarried." Holbrook's laugh was mean as a rattler's bite. "In territory where women are scarce as water in August, that tells you everything you need to know. Besides, what choice do either of you folks have?" Standing in that little wooden church, Cole glanced sideways at Big Bertha. Her brown dress was the size of a cavalry tent, straining at every button like it was fixing to bust wide open. Her dark hair was pulled back tight as a noose, and her round face seemed to disappear into the folds of her thick neck. But her eyes, there was something sharp as a bowie knife in those eyes that didn't match the rest of her soft appearance. The preacher's words blurred together like smoke as Cole thought about those 50 cattle waiting in Holbrook's pasture, healthy stock that would be the foundation for building his herd back up from nothing. The difference between keeping the family name alive and losing everything his blood had ever worked for. "I do," Big Bertha said when her turn came, her voice stronger and clearer than Cole had expected from such a meek-looking woman. His own voice caught in his throat like a bone. "I do." The wedding ring was far too small for her thick finger, but she forced that gold band on anyway, her flesh bulging around it like bread dough. The wedding feast was small and awkward as a crippled horse. Holbrook's ranch hands wolfed down their grub and lit out fast. The few neighbors who showed up whispered among themselves, stealing glances at the mismatched couple like they were watching a slow-motion train wreck. Cole mechanically shook hands and accepted congratulations that sounded more like condolences for the dearly departed. As evening settled over the prairie, Big Bertha quietly gathered her few belongings. She had only a single carpet bag and a leather satchel she held onto like it contained the crown jewels. When it came time to head for Cole's ranch, she climbed onto his wagon without any help, her massive weight making the springs groan and the wooden frame creak like it might split in two. The ride to his spread was quiet except for the creak of wagon wheels and the lonesome howl of coyotes in the distance. Cole kept thinking about them cattle, about the chance to start fresh, about the price he'd just paid for survival. But when they reached his small log cabin and Big Bertha walked straight to the bedroom door, something in the way she moved changed completely. She moved with sudden purpose, not like a resigned woman heading to her fate. Her steps became measured and sure-footed. That's when she turned that iron key in that bedroom door lock, trapping them both inside, and Cole realized this night would be nothing like what he'd bargained for. Well, partner, hit that subscribe button and tell me what territory you're watching from. This tale's about to take a turn wilder than a Mustang in a thunderstorm. Cole stared at that locked door, his hand frozen on the iron handle like it was red hot. The small bedroom felt like a wolf trap now, with Big Bertha standing between him and the only way out. The single oil lamp on the nightstand cast dancing shadows across her face, making her expression impossible to read. "What in blazes are you doing?" Cole asked, trying to keep his voice steady as creek water. Big Bertha didn't answer right off. Instead, she walked to the window and pulled them thick curtains shut, blocking out every trace of moonlight. When she turned back to face him, everything about the way she carried herself had shifted like a landslide. The meek woman from the church ceremony was gone completely. "Sit down, Cole," she said, firm as granite, her voice carrying authority that made his spine straighten up without a meaning to. Cole felt a chill run down his backbone as he sank onto the bed's edge. "Bertha, you unlock that door right now." "My name isn't Big Bertha Holbrook," she said, opening up that carpet bag. Instead of female things, she pulled out a thick roll of official papers, a leather badge holder, and what looked like detailed maps. "And Silas ain't my uncle." The words hit Cole like a kick from a mustang. "What are you talking about, woman?" Big Bertha unrolled them papers on the small table, showing detailed railroad maps, train schedules, and wanted posters. "My real name is Detective Catherine Sullivan, and I work for the Denver and Rio Grande Railroad Company." Cole's mind was spinning like a dust devil as he stared at them official documents. "That's impossible. You're fat, slow, harmless as a church mouse?" "That's exactly what I needed everyone in this territory to think." Catherine's voice was cold as mountain snow. "For the past 8 months, a gang's been robbing our trains between Denver and Salt Lake City. They've stolen over $40,000 in gold and silver, killed 6 guards, and shot up dozens of passengers like they were target practice. The robberies always happen in the lonesome places, always at exactly the right time when the trains are carrying the most valuable cargo. Someone with inside knowledge has been feeding them details like grain to chickens." Catherine looked straight at Cole. "Someone right here in this territory." Cole stood up slow, his legs unsteady as a newborn colt. "Then why marry me? Why this whole song and dance?" Catherine moved closer, her massive frame somehow seeming more threatening than pitiful now. "Because this gang only works in areas where they got local help. Safe houses, fresh horses, folks who won't ask awkward questions. I needed to get close to the community without anyone suspecting I was law enforcement. A fat, simple woman married to a desperate rancher, nobody pays attention to someone like that. Nobody sees her as any kind of threat." Catherine reached into her bag again and pulled out a thick journal filled with careful handwriting. "For 6 months, I've been writing down every person in this territory who's got money they can't explain, new horses, or act suspicious when certain subjects come up." Cole looked through that journal, amazed at the detailed observations. "You've been watching everyone like a hawk." "Including you," Catherine admitted straight out. "You were on my list of suspects at first. Desperate man, facing foreclosure, isolated ranch, perfect for hiding stolen goods. But after watching you for weeks, I realized you're exactly what you appear to be, an honest man brought low by circumstances he can't control." Cole felt sick as a poisoned dog. "So you used me." "We used each other," Catherine corrected. "You needed them cattle to save your ranch. I needed a husband to make my cover story complete." Catherine moved to the window and peered through a small gap in them curtains. "The difference is my job here is almost finished. Tomorrow night, the Denver and Rio Grande Railroad is running a special cargo train through Copper Canyon. Gold shipment worth $60,000. "You're using it as bait," Cole realized, the pieces falling into place. Catherine nodded. "My fellow agents are already positioned along the route like hunters in a blind. When this gang makes their move, we'll be waiting with teeth bared." Suddenly, the thunder of horses approaching at full gallop made them both freeze like deer hearing a twig snap. Catherine's confidence vanished like smoke as she recognized them riders. "They're coming for us," she breathed. Cole looked through the window and saw at least 8 riders approaching with torches, all armed to the teeth. How did they figure it out? Catherine's face went pale beneath all that padding. Someone must have seen us together and gotten suspicious. Or, she paused, a horrible realization crossing her features like storm clouds. Or Silas Holbrook is not just helping me with my cover story. He might be running with this gang. The pieces fell together with sickening clarity. He's been watching me, watching everyone else. He knows exactly who I really am. Catherine quickly blew out that oil lamp, plunging the bedroom into darkness thick as molasses. Through the window, they could see them torches bobbing in the distance, getting closer like angry fireflies. In the darkness, Cole heard the sound of fabric tearing and buckles being undone. "What are you doing now?" "Getting ready to fight like a cornered wildcat." Catherine's voice was strained with effort. "Help me get this padding off." Cole's eyes had adjusted enough to see Catherine removing thick layers of padding from around her waist, arms, and thighs. Beneath that elaborate fat suit, she was still a big woman, but strong and athletic like a mountain cat rather than soft. "Good Lord," he whispered. "This extra weight hid more than just my real body," Catherine said, pulling a rifle and 2 pistols from hidden pockets sewn into her costume. "I've been carrying enough firepower to outfit a cavalry unit." The riders had surrounded the cabin now, their torches casting dancing shadows across the walls like demons. Cole could hear Silas Holbrook's voice shouting orders. "Catherine Sullivan, we know you're in there. Come out now and we might let your husband live to see morning." Cole grabbed his own rifle from beside the bed, checking to make sure it was loaded proper. "How many bullets you got?" "Enough," Catherine said, grim as a hangman. "But Cole, you need to understand something. If we fight them and lose, they'll kill us both, sure as sunrise. If we give up, they'll definitely kill us both." Cole looked at this woman who had fooled him completely, yet somehow felt more real to him now than anyone had in years. "Then we fight like hell." Catherine smiled for the first time since he'd known her. "I was hoping you'd say that, partner." They took positions at opposite windows, weapons ready for war. Outside, Holbrook was still shouting demands, but his men were spreading out like wolves, preparing to storm the cabin from all directions. "You made one mistake, Detective Sullivan," Holbrook called out into the night. "You figured we were just a gang of train robbers." Catherine tensed up like a coiled spring. "What's he talking about?" Cole whispered. "We're not just robbing trains for the money," Holbrook continued. "We're part of something much bigger. Confederate boys who never accepted the war's end. That gold isn't just being stolen. It's funding a new rebellion." Catherine's face went white as winter snow. "This is bigger than just train robberies. They're financing Confederate fighters throughout the West." The implications hit Cole like lightning. How many folks are involved in this? Dozens, maybe hundreds. Railroad officials, territorial marshals, army officers, anyone with access to information about gold shipments or troop movements. Catherine checked her rifle again. "If they kill us tonight, the railroad company will never know how deep this snake pit goes." The first gunshot shattered the front window, sending glass flying across the floor like deadly rain. The fight had begun. Catherine returned fire immediately, her shot dropping one of Holbrook's men from his saddle like a sack of grain. The gun battle erupted in earnest, muzzle flashes lighting up the dark cabin like deadly lightning strikes. Cole and Catherine worked together with surprising coordination, covering each other as they moved between windows like seasoned partners. Despite still wearing parts of her disguise, Catherine moved with the trained efficiency of a seasoned lawman. Her shots were precise and deadly, each one finding its mark. "You've done this before," Cole observed during a brief lull in the shooting. "I was a sharpshooter during the war. Before I became a detective, I was Sergeant Catherine Sullivan, 5th Colorado Volunteer Infantry." Outside, Holbrook's remaining men were trying to set fire to the cabin, throwing burning torches onto the roof.
Smoke began seeping through the ceiling boards like morning fog. "We can't stay here much longer," Cole coughed. "Then we make our stand outside under the stars," Catherine said, firm as bedrock. "Cole, I need you to know something before we go out there." She looked straight at him through the smoke and chaos. "This marriage might have started as a trick, but you're a better man than I expected to find in this godforsaken territory." Cole felt something stir in his chest that had nothing to do with fear or the smell of gunpowder. "Catherine, if we survive this fight, would you consider staying? For real this time?" Her smile was answer enough. They burst through that cabin door together, weapons blazing like the wrath of God, catching Holbrook's men completely off guard. The remaining attackers scattered like startled cattle, unprepared for such fierce resistance from a helpless fat woman and a broken-down rancher. When the gun smoke cleared, Silas Holbrook lay wounded in the dirt, his conspiracy exposed, and his men either dead or running for the hills. The extensive network of Confederate sympathizers would be rounded up within weeks thanks to Catherine's detailed investigations. As dawn broke over the prairie, Catherine stood beside Cole, still wearing the remnants of her disguise, but no longer hiding who she truly was. The railroad company would reward them both handsomely for breaking up the conspiracy. "So what happens now?" Cole asked, looking at this remarkable woman who had saved his ranch and possibly his life. Catherine squeezed his hand. "Now we find out if a railroad detective and a cattle rancher can make a real marriage work." Cole looked at the woman who had fooled him so completely, yet shown him what true partnership could be like. Sometimes the most extraordinary folks come disguised as the most ordinary. And sometimes the greatest love stories begin with the most unlikely deceptions. If you enjoyed this incredible tale of deception, courage, and unexpected love, you'll want to watch our other amazing stories. Don't forget to subscribe to Tony Tells Tales for more unforgettable stories that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Hit that notification bell so you never miss a story, and let us know in the comments which twist surprised you the most. Until next time, this is Tony Tells Tales, where every story has the power to change how you see the world.